So I just wanted to take a moment to, I don't want to say address some comments because that seems to give the comments too much value, but just to have a placeholder video that I can link to for when people want to say certain things about my video content. Now, let's establish what the current content is, with a heavy focus, of course, on Kent Hovind, but, branching out into other, science denying crazy stuff like flat earth, spirit science, all that mumbo jumbo. I take a very cynical, very snarky, comedic attitude to my reactions. That is genuinely how I feel about this stuff in a lot of cases, but amplified because I am still playing a character. It's presenting for the sake of entertainment. And clearly, a large number of people in the community have latched onto that and enjoy it. And naturally, you attract people being critical of this, that, the other, where it's not just them being, you just, you're mean to Hovind and he's a good guy, those idiots. It's like, whatever, fuck that. But people who, usually it boils down to two things, and it's primarily with regards to the Hovind videos, is one, accusations of constant ad hominem, and two, a criticism of my lack of going in depth in debunking him. Now, again, I explained a sec ago, maybe not the most clear, but they're entertainment videos. I am a science minded person. I believe I'm relatively intelligent. I'm an idiot most of the time, but there's a lot of stuff I do know and understand. There's a lot of stuff I take interest in. Um, but I can't just off the cuff remember all those details all at once when I do a live video. And that's the thing. My content is done real time reaction. It's not a pre planned, pre edited video. So I don't have the ability or have the desire per se to turn every video into this massive debunk that takes hours upon hours of effort just in the prep stages. I want it to be one and done because the point of the video is to mock what is being said for its sheer absurdity. Or, especially in the case of Hovind, see the level of outright insanity that he will go to in the things he says. Or to see him flub up. Or to pick at those little points where you can see that his script fails and he's just left hanging high and dry. Additionally, especially in the case of Hovind, everything he says has been debunked to the nth degree. There's nothing new that he has. All of it's been addressed. I have nothing to add in that facet because people more skilled than me at various facets of science have covered it all. If you want debunkings of Hovind, pure, raw, factual, analytical teardowns, they're out there. I'm not producing that content. I'm producing something to make you laugh, something to take the edge off the fact that this guy is still out there, lying like he does, doing the shit he does, and being seen as some sort of good person because he masquerades his, you almost want to say evil, as, him being a good, godly person. You know, I can't convince people who like Kent that he's a terrible person. But the people who know the kind of person he actually is, who follow this insanity, who have been exposed to it and thought, this is interesting, I'm going to pay attention to this. The typical lol cow thing of, it's a train wreck you can't look away from. I do the videos for them. Because it's interesting to see our various takes on what Hovind says. Little nuances that each of us may pick up on that the other person might not. I know there's stuff AJ finds, for example, that I wouldn't notice and vice versa. And together, we provide a nice overview of everything he says, everything he does, his current content, to just be that analytical thorn in his side. Now again, that's not to say we're all sitting there, spending weeks on end preparing a video. No, We're just going off the cuff, having some fun with it. And that's the other half. And that's really the key thing I wanted to address here is in having fun, my personal style is to be extremely disrespectful, extremely rude, to be an asshole with regards to him. Because Kent is not a nice person. He is not a good person. You can watch in his own videos where he regularly talks shit about people, throws out insults, and is just an asshole. And that's okay when he does it, but when someone criticizing Kent does it, suddenly there's a problem. I don't get that kind of double standard, but then again, double standards, if one for double standards, a lot of people would have no standards, especially in the religious community. Do as I say, not as I do. But with the idea, and a lot of people give me shit over saying over it's an ad hominem. Oh, you're just doing an ad hominem on Kent. No, I'm not. And have phrased that explicitly in videos where this comment has came up that Kent Hovind is an asshole. He's stupid. He's a liar. He's a convicted felon. And in addition to all that, he is wrong about what he says about science, about evolution, about reality. Those are two separate categories of things. An ad hominem is when you would say you're wrong because you're stupid. It's a non sequitur. It doesn't follow. But if I'm saying you're wrong and you're stupid, those are two separate thoughts. And yes, some of you would prefer that I go into detail, but again, that's the thing. That's not the point of the videos, and if I can't do that off the cuff, should I be penalized for that because I haven't prepared a PowerPoint presentation or run the same presentation for 30 plus years? I'm doing this stuff off on the fly and mostly looking for Hovind to say weird stuff so we can look at that and be like, wow, he said that? He did his racist shit at the end of that one presentation one Sunday, I believe. He made that flub and said it's not evidence of a common designer, and I made the clip of that. Yeah, I know it was a flub, but he still said it. If you are following Hovind's logic, you can easily cherry pick that and put that quote in a presentation and say, Ken Hovind said that common traits are not evidence of a common designer. And you're doing just the same as Kent does. And that would be ethically correct to do because, one, it's being done relatively facetiously. It's tongue-in-cheek. No one's going to seriously do that as a refutation of his stuff. But it's going to show, as example, of how duplicitous he is, of how he behaves, in the typical creationist rhetoric of quote mines, insults, etc. I've chosen to balance out my efforts with those insults, to counter that, to be a thorn in his side of just an outright asshole. Because I don't hate the guy, but I don't like him. I don't like what he does. I think he is a dangerous person. And as long as he's out there rejecting science, lying to people, continuing to run the cult he does, I'm going to continue doing this because I have fun doing it. People have fun watching it. And if you can't get that fact that these videos are intended for a specific audience, for a specific style of a style of content that's made for a specific type of viewer, then I don't know what you're doing on YouTube, because you seriously should have figured that out by now, that everything falls into different niches. But accusations of ad hominem are just ridiculous. Stop misusing logical fallacies. That was one of the worst things we ever did, was start educating science-denying loonies on logical fallacies and why they were wrong about stuff they said, because they just turned it around and accuse everything we do of that. And that's just not the case. And if you still don't understand the deal with logical fallacies, and somehow you're still in this video, I've left a link down below to explain in a little better detail, because again, other people have done these things better than I could. I'm just one guy trying to make people laugh and also be a thorn in the side of a guy who really, really, really should have just given up after his prison stint. Remember, I didn't spend 9 years in federal prison for tax evasion. Ken Hovind did. I haven't been divorced multiple times. Ken Hovind has. My family, what still exists of it, associates with me. Kent's wants nothing to do with him. Is all that petty to bring up? Yeah. Does it have anything to do with him being right or wrong on his views on science, religion, and the world? No. And I'm not saying it does. I'm saying Kent is a shitty person. Here's some facts about him that I feel support this whole facet. As compared to, let's say, me or other people out there. Nobody's perfect. I'm not saying I'm perfect. But it's just a matter of how one presents themselves and the way Kent plays the victim, while simultaneously being so hostile to others in this wonderful tapestry of just evil. I guess that's all I wanted to say here. I don't know. This is all just coming right off the cuff, and it's already been 10 solid minutes. This is crazy. I normally don't do stuff like this, but I'm just going to save, uh, throw this in the editor, render it with some cool footage, and just let what come may. Um, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. If you still think I'm Ad-Hom and Kent, you're a fucking idiot. Uh, yeah, later.